Hi, this is Dr. Kayla. Welcome to Growing the Leader Within, my podcast for Grief Guide Ministries. I'm going to take you with me to eavesdrop in on a panel discussion that I had recently called How to Be Happy Alone. You need to know that information? Well, this is the episode to listen to today. Let's go. We're dealing with the subject of how to be happy alone, building yourself a life of significance. Can you see? Am I in the way?
No, I can see.
Okay, make sure. Okay, so here we go. Marlene, we're going to start with you. And then you're going to answer the same question. Danielle, you're going to answer the same one. Okay? When we get through the questions, then if we've got time, we'll open for discussion. Okay? All right. Besides our essential spiritual disciplines, what are some key biblical concepts and practices we can incorporate into our daily lives to be healthy, joyful, single Christian women?
Okay. My name is Marlene, and for every answer that I give you tonight, it's based on what I actually do for my work, and they are brain-based biblical concepts. Here's how God designed our brain. Here's what the Bible says. And so that's what we've done is we've just discovered, okay, what are those simple things that God has already given us instructions on that are key for us living this abundant life that he's given us. And so if I had to say, besides our essential spiritual disciplines that we do, I would say number one is that we build our capacity by building our joy level in our lives, raising the joy level. There are intentional exercises that our brain responds to that builds the neural paths in our brain, and at the same time it's building your capacity. Like even thinking about, like I know sometimes you scroll through your phone and you got some great pictures and you're like, oh, I remember that. Your brain is actually working at that point. And your brain is trying to connect to that joy center, which is your prefrontal cortex right here. We're not getting any brain science parts tonight. But this part of your brain is the one piece of your brain that was the joy center of your brain was the one that was not connected when you were born. It takes relationship to build that. So I need somebody to help me build my joy paths back from fear, back from anger, back from major emotions of disgust and shame and sadness. But when our parents did that for us, then we learned how to begin to do it for ourselves when they've done enough. But what actually happened is that your neural paths will be, when I'm sad, when I'm whatever, here's how I return to joy. We could talk about it later, but we're not diminishing those other things that happen in our life, but building our joy capacity is really big. And it's just a matter of the gratitude. I've said that Oprah should not have led the conversation on gratitude. That's a church thing. How many times in the Word does it say, give thanks, give thanks? All of those things, gratitude, joy, and another big piece is the quieting. You know, we know the Word says that be still and know that I'm God. Everybody's catching on now. The nervous system, what's happening with your nervous system, and taking the deep breaths to quiet yourself down. And the very simple concepts, we'll have another time for us to talk through some of the concepts that we teach. We'll have to, because they are life-giving and life-changing in their transformation. We've been trying to do some things that the Word says that we could do, but there's some parts that we get to play in that. And some of that is the renewing my mind by actually going through some of the steps. So 5 minutes of just kind of thinking on joyful things builds your joy capacity. Do it again in the evening, it builds your joy capacity. And then you'll find out next year when something happens, you didn't react the same way you reacted last year. And I tell people, keep doing the work, your brain's working. So building joy is a big piece of what I have incorporated into my life. And even before praying, we tell people just this, okay? Before you start, open your mouth and say anything, think on a joyful moment. You're getting your heart ready to receive. You're getting your heart positioned to just be with the Lord. And I can go on forever with that. But those are very important things. This appreciation, the joy, the quieting, that we practice those things because there's actually things happening in your brain that's helping to raise your capacity for life, because there will be troubles will come our way. It's actually in the Word. It says that. Yeah. And we could be stronger. We could be wiser. And we actually train this, that if you are, when raising your joy capacity, doing the brain exercises, you can get to a point where you can return to joy and peace 90 seconds after any traumatic thing. And that hasn't been the case for a lot of us in the church. You know, we'll carry it 90 years if we can, and I'm still moaning about that. So very simple things just to put into practice. And it's actually the way God designed our brains. And he had said it so many times in the Word of those three simple things: quieting and joy and appreciation. So that's the three things that I add on to my life.
Would y'all like to hear a lesson on that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right,
It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
go at it.
So for me, it's two things, right? One is gratitude, and it was a learned behavior, and it kind of goes along with what you're saying. And coincidentally, I put a post up yesterday that referenced Proverbs 3:5, that reminds us to trust the Lord with all our heart. And there's something that I wrote in there that says surrender, right? Whatever it is that you have, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's having faith that the outcome is going to be good. That's what that truly means for me spiritually, right? And then what happens is you're like freed of all this worry. Sometimes I walk around and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this done. This hasn't happened, and I'm going, I can't fix it. Period. I can't. You know what? Let's take the lesson. I'm grateful for the lesson. I'm gonna have to put this in God's hands. I will pray on it, and then I trust that it's going to be okay. And whether it turns out okay or it doesn't turn out okay, the gratitude is thank you for the lesson, or thank you for fixing it or correcting it, right? And then, and the other thing that what that does is it impacts who I become then outwardly, right? Because now the other thing that I absolutely love is serving others, and by serving others is empowering women. That's my calling.
Yeah.
I am convinced that that's my calling: empowering women, helping women learn and grow. And so in that space, when I am doing that, I'm practicing what I'm now teaching, or what I'm influencing, or what I am saying to these young ladies or ladies that are looking for growth. I can speak from a true work that I have done. And so you guys see me on Sundays, right? I'm just laughing it up. It's real.
Yeah.
There is absolutely not a fake smile there. I absolutely walk in there intentionally grateful for being able to make it a church, for being able to be with you guys, and to hug you. I mean, I think I chased you down for a... but yeah, those are the two things that I feel are important.
Okay, this is my turn. Mine is a little, like, it almost seems silly, but to piggyback off of what you guys spoke about with gratitude and joy, mine is laughter and movement. And
Yeah. Good.
I love to laugh.
Good.
And I get tickled very easily about anything. But you have to be intentional, especially when you're by yourself. Things could seem dark. It could seem sad or lonely or whatever. So you have to be intentional about, like you said, finding ways to find joy. So if you are on social media and you have Facebook posts that are people or things that you follow, Instagram, whatever, follow those little pages where there's dogs doing silly things or whatever that makes you giggle. And you see that on your feed when it's surrounded by all this kind of chaos and you find yourself in laughter. Watch a comedy, laugh. Call your girlfriend or your friend or whatever. Just be lighthearted and find moments of joy. And the movement piece, like I was talking to you guys, we were talking about the gym and all that stuff already. And they were talking about the 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not the person to text. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But even if you're not going to the gym, you can find other ways to move your body and remind your body of life, that you're still here. So when I'm at home by myself, I put on music in my house on my TV, and I'm just dancing all around the house. If I'm not dancing around the house, I'm walking around the house. Walk up and down your street, get up, just move your body in some type of way to remind your body of what it means to just be alive. Because we can get in these periods of being stuck. And it's not intentional, we just get comfortable. And we're just sitting, and it's easy to just, click on the TV and you're just sitting and then that's when the enemy can come into you feeling sad, you're feeling down because you're not moving, you're not smiling, you're not laughing. And like you said, those are parts that trigger things in your brain to remind yourself of the joy and the goodness of life. So it seems silly almost, but it's important to always move your body, whether you're moving with somebody or you're moving by yourself. Move your body, laugh, smile, and remind yourself of the joy that's there.
Yes. It's good.
Yeah.
That's good, y'all.
That's good.
Okay, here we go.
Let me do this. There's a 83-year-old friend that I was visiting in Arkansas, and this man is very healthy. Marlene, I want you to do this every morning. And we put on the music, and all of us were just doing this and just moving everything, Marlene. It doesn't matter, just move it. Yeah. But he's a healthy man with like 90 acres that he's taking care of. And so shall we practice it? Move it.
That made me laugh too.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. What do I do with the loneliness I feel when I'm with my married friends?
Hi, girls.
Huh? Like your man. Yeah, be third wheel. Y'all want to kiss and love. Where's the consideration?
Yeah, I get it.
I'm just gonna be honest. I don't believe that married people need to stay with married people. But when it's you and your gentleman, it's you and your gentleman. I don't need to be part of that.
Yeah, but there's some times that we want to be with our friends, and for us to be healthy, we do need to be with couples sometimes. That's just how God designed. When you talked about multi-generational living, you are now single, living with a family, living with the 20-something-year-old as well. Is he still here? No, he's gone. But that's a part of our maturing, is that we are multi-generational and that we have different than ourselves. And that's what's hard about when you do any kind of separation in churches, where we're even putting all the kids together, all the young adults. We have to have spaces where we're actually mingling together. But for I would answer it from this. Tell me what's your name again?
Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey.
I get it. And for I will answer for me is that I thoroughly enjoy all the married couple friends that I have. I'm applauding how they love each other well and how they do things. It's how I showed up to the conversation. I showed up knowing who I am and what I bring to the relationship, to their relationship even. It's not, for me, it's not a matter of it's a married couple. These are two dear friends that are separate. I can sit and talk with this man for whatever. I can sit and talk with this woman. But it's how I showed up. And I showed up with just Marlene. I am Marlene, and all that I carry, all that I bring to the world. And that's what we get to do. We say this thing about being happy alone. We could have another night being happy married, because it's a different scenario. But the whole idea is that we stand before the Lord alone. And what are you doing with what he's given to us, what he's given us? I remember I think Deuteronomy, we all know it talks about the blessings, and, here's all the blessings, and blessed coming in, blessed going out. When you read a little bit further on, he says, but because you did not serve the Lord with gladness of heart, these curses could come on you. It's like, oh, what happened to, where he's actually intending that we serve him in this happy space, this glad space, and I'm glad that he is with me, and I'm glad of who he's made me to be. I don't want us to diminish ourselves in any way, whether married or single. We are women of God, handmaidens of the Lord, that we get to walk in and carry who we are and not withhold ourselves in any way, because we're robbing other people of what they needed with this multi-generational living and this cross thing that needs to be happening with us. If I withhold myself, and I'm with Izzy, she misses something that she needed for the next season or the next space in her life. So we don't ever withholding ourselves. That happens a lot in a lot of situations. We could talk about that one day, of how we actually betray ourselves when we withhold who we normally are because of the situation that's around. So we want to practice just being our best selves, and I want to show up because this is Marlene, and I like Marlene, and I'm just going to be me, whether you like me or
You have a sphere of influence
yes, we all do. We all
that
do.
we can make an impact on them.
Yes. Yeah.
I get that.
Not to make her think, oh, I want to be single. That's not what we're going after. That's not what we're going after. But it's just us walking in and not withholding any part of us that because we are complete in Christ. It doesn't mean the man does not complete us. And so we should be able to walk into those situations. And some of that is our frame of mind, what we're thinking as we go into those.
So I have a question. How long have you been single? And how long has it taken you to get to this space?
I think, Stephanie, for me, I have single parented most of my life. I'm 69 years old. And so that is a long time to have single parented. And I've had a married times in there, but it was, I was too dependent on the other person to make me happy. But honestly, Stephanie, I'll say this, is that everything that I talk about with the brain-based biblical concepts, this is what I've discovered in the last 8 years in my life. Walking with the Lord for 48 years, and I'll say the last 8 have been more transformational than the previous 40, because I learned how to cooperate with how He designed my brain and my body, and that's what we get to live. We get to taste this abundant life, because we talk about, He said, "I've given you, life more abundantly," and not very many Christians are walking in that, and we won't go into that conversation, but how do we get to taste that? And I love what we do is to help people to taste the things they've never tasted. And honestly, I would say I transformed more in the last 8 years than the previous 40. And in ministry all the time, hiding.
Thank you.
Don't get too close because I'm going to bite you. That's where it was. So it's, yeah. Yeah.
I want to say, first of all, I want to appreciate y'all's transparency. We need that.
Yeah.
I need you to just say it real. Okay? Because there's nobody here but us, and this conversation is staying in here, yes?
You're recording it. Okay. I know. We will bless you, ladies. We love you. No, we bless you, ladies. Don't edit anything out. I don't edit anything out.
It's a great question.
That's no real. You know I'm crazy.
I think I can't remember too many times where I've had a reaction to that scenario, but I can't speak into feeling lonely in some environments like that away from my partner. So I've been divorced. Came out of a 30-year marriage. That's what I came out of. And I lived my life through that relationship. So everything was, the soccer, the games, the this, the that. And so, but what has helped me, and this is a learned behavior right after the fact, is when I'm around couples like that, what I'm doing, I'm a lifelong learner. So whatever you're doing and I'm watching, I'm learning, whether it's because it's something good or maybe I have an encouragement for you. So something I've learned is that people come into your life sometimes because they have something that they're going to teach you. Or you're coming into their life or you come across them because you are the one that's going to teach them something. And so from that frame of mind, my visits or my engagements are always about, well, this couple's pretty cool. I remember I visited with a couple of weeks back. Man, their communication flow, their bickering, everything felt really good. And so my learning from there was, that's how it's supposed to happen. He was apologetic when it was necessary. And she was apologetic when it was necessary. And they were kind of a little rough and tough, but it played out well. And so that was a learning for me. While on the other side of things, I was able to experience, for example, a couple that was just, clashing. And I wanted to just jump in and go, hey, wait, that doesn't work. Let me tell you where this is going. So it was a matter of finding the opportunity to share and with which one I was going to share the thought with. So that's kind of my approach. Now, as far as me, working on myself, a lot of what I felt that did was an invitation, like to sit with myself. And think about, okay, how does this serve me? I had somebody that I used to work with that would tell me, get curious. You feel a certain way, get curious. And I'd be really mad because I wanted control of the emotion and the feeling. But why are you telling me get curious? How do I get curious? I'm mad. But it's not that. It was, she was asking me to quiet myself, get in my true thoughts, and but don't fester on it. Just think about, why does it bother you? Is it because it's a couple and they're together, they're happy, and you are not in that space anymore, or is it because that's something you would want to have? And so, how do you achieve that? Right, and then that's
So I'll piggyback off of what you said, but I've been single for 15 years. I've never been married, but I was in a long-term relationship. But I've been single for the past 15 years, and I'm single parented. Like I've single parented my kids their whole entire life. 20 years old and soon to be 22 years old. But to what you said, getting to the root of why you feel the way you feel. I know y'all know Jason and Stephanie sing on the praise team, and Josh and Stephanie sing on the praise team. Those are some long-term friends that I've had. They're married. We have 4 other friends in that friend group, all married. I'm the only single. I've always been the only single. And we would spend time together a lot. But I never felt lonely in those spaces, being with them. One, you already said, Stephanie's my friend, Jason is my friend, Josh is my friend, Verena is my friend. Like they're individual people. I'm an individual person, so I see them individually. But even when they're together and they talk about their memories and they're I don't feel the way about it, because if you would have talked to me 15 years ago, right after that relationship ended, I might not have been able to endure those type of spaces with the same response, because I had a longing. There was 2 things. There was longing and resentment. Resentment because I don't have that. That's not fair. And then longing, I want that so much. But over the course of time, I've been able to recognize my worthiness in my singleness, to where, like we said, a man doesn't define me. A man doesn't make me worthy. A relationship doesn't make me worthy. So I'm fine showing up the way that I am. So when I see them, I genuinely, it's not that I forget that they're all married, but it's just not at the forefront of my brain, because there's no longing there. There's no resentment there. It's just like, it's me and it's them. And we're just hanging out and we're having a good time. I'm not looking at their relationship as if it's something that I'm missing within my own life. It's just that this is the piece that they have. It's no different to me than this is y'all's house. It's not my house. This is your house. I don't walk into this space and say, oh, look, my house is whatever. No, that's your house. That's your marriage. That's your thing. And I'm grateful that you have that. But I'm not less than in my experience, my life, my day-to-day is not less than, because there's no comparison. Yeah. So I think it's important to get to the root. It requires healing. Yes. Get to the root of that longing, that resentment, whatever it is that's there. Dig that stuff up so you can walk into places and you honestly will get to a place where you don't feel anything towards it. It's just, these are my friends, these are my peeps, let's have a good time, and that's it. And it's not like, y'all could be booed up and coupled up. Like, I'm not talking about going together on Valentine's Day. Like, like realistic stuff. Like, you're just hanging out. But special times, it could get weird. Regular weekend stuff or events or whatever. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. Because I touched myself like this weekend we're going away for her mom's birthday. Everybody has a couple. I'm like, all right, well, y'all go home. I'm gonna go my own way.
Yeah.
It just feels as though that's not the place for me.
Yeah.
Even though one of these are individuals and everything, I can accept that. But I don't want to see that, maybe because I'm still in my healing process. I don't know, but I think for me, it's one of those things. I don't have any children. So I come home to a lonely house. I leave a lonely house.
Yeah.
It's nothing there to keep me per se active. Goes back to our conversation earlier. I went and got another job just so I won't be bored.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I'm not jealous of it. I'm in the process of planning the whole engagement as of right now. I just don't, because I feel as though to a certain extent it could be a little bit of jealousy. This man came to your life, took my best friend. She doesn't make time for me anymore. Yeah. So now I'm making the time, and now that I have to make the time, I have to share my time with your man and you. Something has to give.
Yeah.
So I think that may be my part, and I will have a conversation with her, but it's just one of those things. I don't have children. So you ladies have children, we're married, and my thing is, how do you cope as a single woman without anything? It's a little bit different because even though your focus is being a single mom and doing what you need to do, I don't have that, and I'm not having a kid out of wedlock.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what leads me. Where do I go? What do I do?
I'll share something with you. So my kids are all adults. They've been gone. I'm going on 2 years with my last one out the house. And so what that did for me, besides the fact that I had to go get some help because I didn't know what to do when I'm used to, single parenting a kid. But the one thing I will tell you, what I found was opportunity. And this was the missing thing for me. And I think, or in my mind, in my experience, I think this is where it is. It's kind of like when you retire, right? You're retiring from something, but you want to retire to something, right? Because if you don't retire to something, then that becomes boring too, and all of a sudden it's all that. So, with the same thought, I'm like, okay, they're gone. I'm free. I'm not crying. What do I do now? So what I chose to do, and for the past 2 years, more so than before, is listen, I sit on I don't know how many groups. So, and I intentionally look for this kind of connection with either different people, different groups. Like you guys that are new to this group, kudos to you for getting uncomfortable. That is really hard to show up into a group that maybe you don't know. You don't know if you're going to jive with them. You don't know if you're going to vibe with them. Show up. Because you know what? Maybe you're not going to jive with the entire group, but if we jive, we're going to grow this relationship. And guess what? That's one more good friend that I'm going to have and can go to coffee with. No kids, right? Because that's what will happen. You'll find somebody that doesn't have kids, and that may be a nice match. So that's what I have found. That now depending on where I go, it's what I want to do. Do I want to go coffee with the one that has no kids? Cool, because I'm there.
And it's that intentionality that you're talking about. Like, I do have kids, but my kids are grown too. And I remember you said you were crying. I came off the stage in the movie when we're still in the movie theater, saying worship, whatever, walk off the stage, bawling my eyes out. Like, and Stephanie and them, they knew. They're like, she's on the verge of breakdown. When I say I cried every single day, every day. I'm about to cry right now thinking about it. Just because, like, there's a memory attached there. I cried every day. I didn't know that type of loneliness. I didn't know that that's how it could be for some people. I'm like, I had the kids my whole life since I was 19 years old. So I didn't know the loneliness that you're speaking of, like coming into an empty house, leaving into an empty house day after day after day. And I was like, Lord,
It's difficult.
what is this? I don't want no part of this. I was just, when I said I was crying, Stephanie started praying for me because I couldn't keep myself together. I was just like, I'm going to have to go to PV. I'm going to have to get a dorm and live on campus like this is not going to work for me. But I had to get intentional. And I'm not, y'all probably can't tell as of right now, but I'm extremely introverted, borderline shy. Y'all see at church, I'm not the person that's mixing, mingling, y'all. I'm at the door in the car. I've been gone because I'm a little introverted or whatever. But because I'm like that, I can easily isolate. So I had to be intentional about, okay, let me get with some people. Even joining this group. Pastor Gayla knew my first time. She had to text me because the time had started and I wasn't in the job. And I was really like, ooh. And I told her, I was like, I almost didn't come. But I had to be intentional by even joining this group and
I look at you sitting on a panel.
And now I feel comfortable. Like, I don't even know all of y'all name, but I feel comfortable because I was intentional. Like, okay, if I'm going to do one thing, I'm going to find some people to be around. So even if I'm in that lonely space and my house is empty, I'm not empty on the inside. I have somebody that I can go to. I don't have no friends that's good because my other friends, we all single and don't. So I haven't had to plan any weddings, and I can imagine that that's difficult. But as she goes into her next season in life, like reposition yourself for your next season, and it's a whole lot of us out here that you can connect to, so you don't feel that.
And sometimes we're either shy or just too introverted. Like, I don't want to bother with it. Like, not today. I don't want to bother with it. No, challenge yourself. It's kind of like that the gym conversation we were having,
Yeah.
where I'm like, look, as long as I put my foot in that gym and I stay there for 10 minutes, the intention should be 30, right? But as long as I get there, I win. As long as you show up to the group, you get to know who's here, and you get to choose. If you know, hey, the numbers are in the members groups, I'm gonna text Anna and see what's up. And you get to do that. You get to choose to do it or not to do it. I'm gonna encourage y'all to do it.
We want to encourage everybody to turn their numbers on in the app because most of them are.
Yeah, to do that.
You got to know how to do it. I look for some of them. I was like, oh,
I didn't know that they were turned off.
I want to add a little bit different perspective. So we have women here that have never been married. We have divorced women, and we also have a widow, me, and the two of us who've connected. We didn't have a formal introduction. We were both widows, and somebody said, "Hey, sit with her," and we just grabbed each other because we're both in such need.
Yeah.
At that time, there was no barriers between us at all. We just became friends instantly. And so sometimes when life gives you something that you didn't expect, or disappointment happens, or a shock happens, or whatever, it can open you up. So with your natural hesitancy can go down because you are so desperate for something. So when she came into my life, when I came into her life, I had been a widow 2 years, I think, and you were
No, it
close
was
to
the
that.
same. It was almost the
Okay,
same.
almost the same.
Yeah.
Okay. But our experiences were a little bit different because she moved to Houston. I was living here. She was living with a buddy, a friend, but she didn't know anybody. And I at least was kind of in a safe space. Relate is a safe place to be in. So I knew that how it would feel to be awkward and the new kid on the block and not know anybody. And to me, it was just another connection between us, in ministry. And we did. We hit it off big time. But my point of saying everything about this is this. Intentionality is really key. Because in widowhood, what happens is you realize what a disadvantage you had when you were married. Because 90% of couples, they connect with their mate and they don't really have any big time friends other than their mate. And so they really get limited in their relationships with friends because that's the one you run with. When that's gone, then you have got to learn some new skills. So I would wake up in an empty house. Same thing, huge house. Is like, what am I going to do in this huge place? Trigger every day, all day long. So I decided, you know what? I can't live like this. This is terrible. I got to do something. So I started inviting people over, people with a life experience in life. Other widows. I didn't know them, but we had one thing in common. And from that, relationships formed big time. And so then we started exploring ideas about how do we live intentional? What do we do with a trigger? How do we deal with planning our lives to be happy again? And so these things that we're talking about today are really big time keys that can bring tremendous change. But we have to make the effort to make that happen. You have to step out of your own space, so to speak, and say, Adrian, I want to know you. What's going on in your world? Connect. Let's connect. And we do. She'll call me on the phone. What are you doing? And it's either she's got a need right then or I have a need right then. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Female relationships are really good. Okay, next. How do I address the societal and familiar pressures of to have a partner? How do I address, and we're going to hop down the other end. We'll start with you, Danielle. Okay. How do I address the societal and familiar pressures to have a partner?
So I come from a traditional family, and if you're a female and you're not coupled up, then what's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather was an old Louisiana Baptist pastor, and one of the last things that he said to me before he got sick was, when are you going to give me a slice of cake? And I used to make cakes. So I'm like, why are you asking me to make you a cake? And he was talking about a wedding cake because I was unmarried. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing. If you were a woman and you weren't not attached to a man, who are you? you're almost nothing. So I grew up around these pressures of needing to be married. I had a child young. They told us to get married because we had a child. And we weren't smart enough to know, like, that's not a good idea. So we never did it. But the way that I address that pressure is to remind other people. I know it myself, but I remind the people that are around me that are putting that pressure on me is that my worthiness is not attached to a man. Like, we are individuals that God has created and formed by ourselves. He was intentional when he created us. He's intentional with everything that pertains to us and is not attached to anybody else. So I don't succumb to the idea that my being is more important in a marriage or in a relationship because I'm just me by myself and that's okay. So I actually wrote up or printed out some scriptures. If you want to take one and pass it and just, put it on the refrigerator or just in your binder, take a picture on your phone or something. It's just scriptures to remind yourself of your worthiness.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to fall into the pressures of society and family or whoever it is around you that make you feel less than because you're not coupled. But if you keep the word in your heart and hold the word in your heart, then those pressures the weight of the pressure feels a lot less.
That's good. Thank you for typing that up. That's awesome.
I'm gonna come from maybe a little more simpler, practical form. I think that's part of you growing, growing within yourself and knowing yourself. So when people come to me and they're like, "Well, Anna, what's going on here? When is this going on?" And my response is always either I'm not ready, or God hasn't brought the person that needs a partner like me, right? Because sometimes these conversations will come up, and these typically will come up for women that, and this I share with you because it's a fault. It's not a fault, but it is something that I have seen as a fault, right? Is we are sometimes a little bit more on the masculine side because we're providers, we're workers, we're single women hustling. We are bringing the bread home, whatever that looks like. And so what happens is the thought of, oh, I'm going to lean on the partner, or unless you're a partner to me, unless you're going to walk with me the same path and we're going to be doing the same, and we're headed in the right direction and God is in the middle of all of it, we're not partners. That's not going to work. And so it's not giving space to that pressure, right? Now, the societal pressure that we're talking about is the reason why I feel like I'm called to empower women to not feel like that's what they need to be. And I don't have a good word for this, but to be fixing themselves, right? Or to be going to school because they're going to find the right guy that's going to take care of them and buy them a home, and it's going to be wonderful because, he makes money and blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't be the goal, right? In my opinion, and from what I have learned in my experience has been, hey, get to know yourself. Learn what it is that you want for yourself going forward. You shouldn't live your life through anybody else, but through you. Now, that doesn't mean I'm empowered and I'm this masculine chick that's got the world fixed. No, because when that person shows up, and again, the beauty of learning from other couples is, how do I want to partner up with you? I want to be kind, want to be giving, want to be thoughtful, gentle. Become that person that you want to find, or that you want God to show up for you. But more importantly, be happy with yourself and don't feel pressure to show anybody or anything. You don't know. The only judge we have is God. Right? Yeah. So that's my approach to the societal piece.
Wow. Good. What I would add to that is, that Jesus gave us a command when he left, and he said, love God, love others as you love yourself, and that one little piece, as you love yourself. And I know, ladies, we have stories in our lives. We have wants, we have desires, we have things with us not within reach of us. And for this journey that we're on with the Lord, I prioritize liking me, because I can't love you if I don't love me. And if I don't like me, I'm not loving me. And there's things that for all of us have stories in our lives of things that have happened. And the older you live, the more stories you have. Izzy, you want to compare stories? I think I'm gonna beat you. She's not competitive. She already told me that tonight. But think of this. Here is the heart that Jesus designed for you, with all of your gifts and talents and what you get to bring to this world. But alongside of that are the nicks and the dings and the hurts and the bruises and the cuts and the wounds. And what he is so gracious to do is he allows us to keep moving and leave it alone. But all it takes is somebody in the community just to poke, and it comes out. And my heart's desire is for women everywhere that we become healthy, that I learn how to like me. I like me. You know, what is it that, the word says that we're fearfully, wonderfully made. And, we could easily, if I give you a piece of paper right now and say, here's 2 sides of paper, write down all the things that you kind of grumbled about. I don't like my toes, I don't like my nose, I don't like my hair, I don't like this. I'm like, we tend to come up pretty quickly with that. But what about the other half of the list? What I do like about me? Because that's the part where fearfully, wonderfully made. I want her to have these eyes and this kind of nose, and I'm going to make this a little crooked, but this, because I like it just the way this, and all the things that he designs, and then we pounce it. I can't believe I got this. So there's some things that we can't change. We get to accept that and learn that this is who I am. One of the things that I talk a lot about is learning the delight of the Lord. A lot of us have served the Lord for years and have never thought, this is just typical in the church overall, have never thought, he likes me. I make him smile. That's the part that builds this joy that I can get back to in any moment, because I've practiced it enough that no matter what situation I'm in, I can get back to that. Yeah, but he likes me. He likes me. He's with me. I think he's not missing a beat of anything. But all these stories that we have in our lives, guys, I want the bride, the feminine side of the bride, I want us to be whole and healthy. We carry the attachment piece that the church is missing. And if we're not healthy and whole, the church still misses out on that. He's designed us with this attachment thing. These babies latched off right from the beginning. That's us. But we carry a piece that the church doesn't know what to do with, and they're actually missing. But we as a church, we need the healthy moms to rise up. And others are actually following. There's just a quick story. I had a group of single women over 50 in Denver, and that was the first night we met. I said, guys, let's work on me and whatever I need to do, whatever I want to process, whatever I need to process through therapy, whatever community. Let's work on that, because there are handmaids, there are other young women waiting on you. There's young men waiting on you. And so for me, that's always been this, that's the carrot in front of me. I want to bring the best Marlene to the world, because I got Cass in Denver, 29 years old. I've got, this one, Ashley in 30 years old. All these young people I could think of that I get to mother. And so who is it that you get to be the spiritual mom to, but you get to present yourself healthy, because you've learned to like myself. And so I can love myself. Now I can love you. If I'm not loving me, it's he put it in that order. He said, as love others as you love yourself. So I just bless you, my friends, to be honest with the Lord. I thank you, Stephanie, you just being so raw, and I love it. I love it, because that's what for Pastor Gayla to build this kind of group. It's like, guys, no facades. We just this is who we are, and this is what we're struggling with, so that others can come alongside of us and walk with us as sisters in Christ. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. Next question. How do I learn to enjoy my own company?
Girl.
Danielle, take it. How do I learn to enjoy my own company? Tell us the truth. What do you do?
Back to intentionality.
Okay.
You have to take baby steps. Before, I'm still young. I'm a young tenderoni. But when I was younger, the thought of eating dinner by myself in a restaurant was like, I'm not. No, thank you. I didn't want to sit and see people or just do the things that I normally enjoy doing them alone. So you already said to like yourself. So start there, because one, if you don't want to be around you, then ain't nobody gonna want that part. So if you struggle to be with yourself, then there's something else that's going on that you have to get to the root of. But when you like yourself, you're able to sit with your own company, or if you're struggling to do activities or things by yourself, I encourage you, this is what I did. I started with something small. So let's say you, like me, I told y'all I like Zumba. I like dancing. I love to dance. I like the Zydeco. I pull up dancing. That's my thing. So you have to find something that you enjoy doing, period, with people, and do it by yourself. Just a little bit. So I go to these little restaurants that's Zydeco, or little cookouts or whatever that's Zydeco. And there's one time I was supposed to go with my sisters and my mom, and everybody flaked last minute. Normally I would just be like, oh, so now I gotta sit at home and be bored. And I challenged myself. I was like, go anyway. Go anyway. Got in my car, got my little lawn chair, and I went to see my friend's Zydeco band in whatever park we were at. And I sat out there in the cold. And then at first I was like, well, I'm here. I'm just going to enjoy the music. And I was just moving. And then they started playing. This was not too long ago. They started playing Where Them Fans At? I ain't had no fan, but I was like, I know this line band. And I got up and I started dancing with random people that were just Zydeco into or dancing. So it's like little things. And that just brought me back to, that wasn't the first time that I went somewhere by myself, but that just brought me back to do the things that you enjoy, but just do them alone. If you enjoy a good meal, you like, you know, you're a foodie, go to the restaurant. Go try that new restaurant that you've been seeing on Instagram and everybody posting about. Go there. Don't go on a Friday night or a Saturday night when you know everybody's coupled up and it's busy and you might feel awkward. And, you know, go on a Tuesday at like 6 o'clock where you can sit and you don't feel like everybody's watching you because you have a table of one. Or go to that movie. Go at the time when it's not a whole bunch of people there. So do the little things. Just start with doing it by yourself, something that you already enjoy. Make a list. I like to do this. I like to do this. I like to do this. These three things. Yeah. And I'm going to challenge myself this month to do one of these things. Yeah. Even for the smallest period of time. You know, you have to be intentional about enjoying your own company. You can't just sit up in the house and do nothing because you feel like you have nobody to do something with. You are still alive. Yeah. You can still do stuff. Time is just, you know, it's going to keep going. And it's, before you know it, it'll pass you by. And you're still sitting in the same spot, watching that same TV show, watching Friends every night. Because I like Friends. When you're watching Friends every night, the same rerun that show have been on for however many years, you're watching them same people because you feel like I can't do anything because I'm not attached. So go enjoy yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So from how you know me now, you wouldn't believe what I'm about to tell you guys, but there was a time where being alone was not my jam. I didn't like it. I always had a crowd of friends or my partner, right? And that was very important to me. My work around now, you know, being single and figuring out how this is going to work and getting rid of that loneliness piece or how am I going to be in peace with myself? My struggle back when that was the issue was I wouldn't even sleep in my room alone. I would throw pillows and blankets in the living room because I needed that big space. So I knew that I wasn't alone and that somebody was, and the TV had to be on. That TV had to be on overnight. I wouldn't even get proper sleep because I needed that noise so that I didn't feel that loneliness. And so the work for me became, okay, well, okay, what does this look like? What is it that's going on? And how am I going to fix it? Because I can't, this is not a way to live. And when that became with help, right, it became getting quiet. I worked in an environment that was extremely stressful, so quiet was not the business. Prayer or calming down and think about what would happen is I would immediately go into a spin of negative stuff and loneliness and why are you alone, blah, blah, blah. What helped was two things. One, I connected with the local church back where I was at. In that local church, I connected with the women's group there. They would look at me and think everything was cool. And look, this is Anna. And like I'm speaking to you here would be my external way of showing up everywhere. It wasn't until we started to get vulnerable and we started to share our own independent stories. This is what one of the ladies said to me, and it stuck with me since, because it was true. She says, Anna, you were looking for a lifeline. This is how badly broken you were, and you were looking for a lifeline, and this is what that group was for me. And so once I identified, once I started to see that, then I started to understand, hold on, I have an entirely blank canvas here. I get to choose what happens next. I get to choose what I'm going to do with this. I get to choose to go sit at a restaurant and have that meal that I want. And I've had opportunities to try to Pastor Kayla, there's this funny hot pot. Hot pot restaurant, right? And I thought that was cool. And so now that's become a habit. That's become a part of me. Anybody that becomes a partner with us, they have to enjoy that hot pot, right? Because it's a jam, right? And guess what? It's my jam, right? And so I don't feel, I never want to feel forced to go have Mexican food if I don't feel like having that, right? I want to be able to do that. So that's what that turned into for me, is learning how to be on my own. So now I absolutely appreciate a moment of quiet. And the moment of quiet can be as easy as going to McDonald's and sitting with a coffee and something to eat and just chilling for 30 minutes before I go home, and then I can do whatever else that I need to do. But yeah, absolutely.
Wow, so good, so good. I like what you said about just get out of your comfort zone. Just last month when I was in Denver, walking the park by myself, and the largest park in Denver, Wash Park, and there were a lot of people under a tree with some blue shirts on, and it said nerdy dance, and they had music on, and they said, "Come on, do whatever dance you want." You know, I joined them. I joined those people. At first, I was about to pass by. Some, I ain't doing that. Yes, I am. and of course, there were some white people with no rhythm out there.
I might resemble that. I own it. I'll own it.
That's why they were doing a nerdy dance, and they were doing it. So I just did the same thing. But it's like, that's out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it that's so important for us guys is we were designed for community.
Yes.
If you live alone, you were designed for community. There's no ins or outs, us. There's no way around it. And how do we form? How do we get into community? What forms it? So joining women's groups, joining something. But it's, for me, I'm just determined that I will never live alone, because I don't want to get into the place of, who moved that cup? Why'd you put that cup there? Why'd you, the things that I'm getting so used to. It's like I need to be challenged in my living spaces to yield to somebody else. And so I know that right now my daughter and her husband live with me, but when they're gone, it's like, no, there's a roommate coming in, because I won't be doing that. We're designed for community, and God designed it that way. Our brains operate differently when we're dealing with people of different ages. So if Gayla was really much older than me, my brain, when I talk to her, I was like, yes, Miss Gayla, you need me to get you something? Now when I talk to Anna, 2 years apart. But when I talk to Anna, it's like, oh, girl, what you talking about? But then when I talk to a baby, it's like, would you? Now, I couldn't do that. This is, would you? I'm sorry, speaking time. She does speak time. But seriously, guys, our brains are designed to grow and expand and mature when we are in community with other people. There are things you cannot do for yourself. If you are trying to reach levels of maturity, and we call it elder maturity, the steps that are needed, other people have to do this for you, and you have to be able to receive that in order to move on to the next level. So finding people, we can't live life alone. So find our communities. And let's go eat dinner. I'll go sit at the next table and
Oh, I go sit. Excuse me, guys. I sit at the bar. I sit at the bar towards the door so I can see who's coming in. I'm home, give an eye. Oh yeah, now that's something I have no problem. I take groceries by myself. To be by myself because I am a timely person except for the day. Sorry, y'all. And I don't like to wait on people, so I like to just do stuff and do it. So I have no problem with that. But I do have a question for you. At this point in time in your life,
me and her,
Miss Marlene.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm coming for you because you're still new to the single life.
Yes.
You made a comment about my house is community, even though you have your daughter there with your son-in-law. But now it's one of those things I don't want to get so set in out my ways. So I say at your tender age, being a senior saint, how do you, because we already know when you get older, you get set in your ways as it is.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate when God brings you that person? How are you preparing yourself now to say it's okay to leave that cup there? It's okay to not be on time today, or it's okay if I don't feel like making my bed up today. Because I have OCD. My house is like a model house. I don't like to leave this and this things, but I've learned it's okay not to make that bed.
Yeah.
It's only you using this bathroom. You know that you're not peeing on the floor. It's okay not to clean that bathroom today. So how do you navigate when it is that time for you when God says, you know what? I'm going to bring you your person. Because you can run that same person off due to being in your own mindset.
Yeah.
So how do you work this out?
It's happening right now.
Oh.
Because my son-in-law, he
Disgusting.
he doesn't.
Men are nasty. Men are nasty. Men are so nasty.
Do what he should do.
Yeah, they nasty.
But even as they want to, I'm like you. I love creating pretty spaces, and I had a whole my living room is probably it goes longer than this because the kitchen and then this living room, and then when I was left town, they took this whole part of the room here and put their gym stuff in their garage, and they put it there.
I would have had a heart attack. I would
Did it's like
You did?
no, that's what they
Started
do.
working out.
No, I did not.
5:30 in the morning.
I have, in every one of these situations, we have to ask ourselves, is the relationship bigger than the issue? Right? And none of these things that happen, the issue is that's just space. Michael, this side is still cute. I can deal with this part. And so all the little things that they say, can we change this? Can we put it? I don't care. Can we have a dog? Yeah, I'll have a dog. But the relationship that I have with them is more important. That's the guide. That one little key, guys, for all the things that happen in our lives is us protecting the relationship. And that's what Jesus was doing when he was tempted in the desert. He was protecting his relationship, his attachment to the Father. Didn't matter what you threw at him. His attachment to the Father was more important than anything else. And so that's kind of, I'm practicing now. I get to do that now. Yeah.
We're gonna have to work on me with
All
that.
right, Danielle, because we
Even the thought of it, I've never lived with a man other than my sons. The thought of somebody being there and messing up, right?
got drool on my
Telling me like want to move things around, not want to.
Right. Don't put the lid.
I don't want to get set in my ways, but I find myself being set in my ways.
Me
already.
too,
Even
already.
with my son's been there. When they I love them to death. Y'all remember how I said I was prime and vomiting? By the time August was July comes, I'm like, when is school starting? Get out. The website. When is the first day? When is school in? I've been checking. Have y'all seen? I haven't gotten the lease. Like, when is it time to go? Get out of here. Why are they still here? I've been telling everybody at church, oh, they gone. They gone.
Y'all are gonna end up in a home.
No, they tell me that.
Listen to me that. Listen, I tell my sister, I said, listen, we take care of our mom, Layla. We take care of our mom. My mom can be many different ways. I mean, as she's getting older and things have changed, and we're learning to love her more strongly. And when we get frustrated, my sister will have a day, she'll, you need to chill out, and we need to learn how to navigate this, because what you do to your mom, your kids are watching.
Yeah.
And guess what? You know? But here's the other conversation. Then I go to my mom and I'll take her to lunch and I'll be like, hey, let's work on you, because I need people to be happy to take care of you. Or else it's just going to be me and you, and you're not going to like it. Or it's going to be you in a home.
Well, that's why I pay for a long-term care policy. We going to sell a house. I'm prepared. I am prepared.
I tell my son already, like, I'm setting myself up so you don't even have to take care of me. Y'all had to put me over there.
I'm pretty sure my.
I want to fester in their lives.
No, but see, you, I don't have any.
Listen, if I pass away, I want to come back like a fly.
But see, I don't have that option, so I already know. When I signed up for my long term, I said, all right, got this. I'm gonna pay this house off for 15 years. We're gonna put that money into some stocks and bonds, because I already know. I think I know. God told me to give my crazy stuff dementia by the time I'm 50. So I need to be somewhere, put up, living this best little life that He gonna give me, because I don't have any kids. So I am prepared for 1K Roth account. Baby, I'm gonna be a rich old man.
I'm about to say, some of these kids put their kids in the home now. Having the kids don't mean that.
Because my kid was trying to put me away.
I'm saying my
kid will be over me.
It's
It's the truth. I know better.
Can't find my glasses. That's why you're going down home.
Sorry, y'all.
Time out. I only got time for one more question.
Okay.
One more question. Danielle, we're going to start with you. Yeah. The question is, what does my work for God look like?
Oh, good. My work for God looks like teaching and worshiping.
Okay.
And I found that out a long time ago when I was a kid. I knew that God had a calling on my life when I was very young. And I was taught very young to use the gifts that God gave me. So in discovering your gifts, you get to discover your purpose. And my work looks like, even if I'm talking about menopause to you guys, we're talking about that. Or if I'm talking, I used to be a teacher. Now I'm special education advocate. Whatever arena I'm in, there's always education taking place. There's always some type of lesson taking place. So I know that my work is to inform the Word of God and even life, you know, whatever I have knowledge and expertise in. I feel like that's my gifting. And then the other thing is worship. Y'all know that I'm a worshiper. Been a worshiper, and I'm talking about, we know that worship is the way we live our lives, but I'm specifically talking about the aspect of singing, worshiping, rejoicing. That piece of it, I feel like that is my work, because I learned that worship can be inspiration, or the way you worship can be inspiration for somebody that doesn't know how to do it, or that sees it as a performance and they have a disconnect. So that work that I do on a Sunday morning, on a Monday morning, on a Friday night, in my car, on the street, when somebody's driving by, like, look, she really over there on the steering wheel. Even that is my work, because it inspires somebody else to find freedom in worship. It inspires somebody else to lift their hand, to make a joyful noise, even if it sounds like noise. That whatever gifting God has given you, that's a part of your work for Him. So those two things are my work. That's what it looks like.
Mine is going to be in the form of serving others, specifically in the space of empowering women. As I told you, growing, mentoring, and leadership feels just natural for me. At church, what I serve in is the director of Next Steps, right? That's just natural. It feels good. I like it. I love it. I like hearing the stories of everybody that shows up to the meetings. I love sharing out what things pop up so that everybody knows what that felt like, what that looked like. And in my work environment, since I was 20 years old, that's all I know. That's all I've done. And what I have done is grabbed everything that I have in those forums and then just bring them out to the people that I get to influence, or the people that I have an opportunity to influence, right? That's what that looks like for me.
That's good. What's the question? What's our work for God look like?
What does your work for God look like? Yes.
You know what? I'm going to say this is that no matter what I do, it has to be an extension of just who I am. It's something I've already experienced myself, and that's what you were kind of referring to. Is that this is who I am, and so because what happens too often in the church is that it ends up being performance, and we're doing things that's not us, that's not really you. So you can burn out. Yeah. The authenticity. And that's why the back door is swinging, because people are tired and saying, "Oh, that's not authentic. That's not right." But when this is who you really are, like for me, the job that I get to do is all about joy, building joy in people's lives. It's like, hello, thank you. Thank you. That's me. But just we have to be on our guards of not performing for the Lord. That I'm operating from a place of connection, from a place of attachment, not for connection, not for attachment, but because who you are is matters, and we need what you carry. The world needs what you carry, and that's why we want to present ourselves healed and whole and free and authentic. So that, and if we imagine we all do that, but there's some brokenness because of sin in the world. There's brokenness, but let's be tender with ourselves, tender with the people around us, and understand we know what we've got in our closet that we're working on, and so we're gentle with each other. And so thank you. You said a lot tonight. I love it.
I want to share this one point because it all sounds amazing from here out, but it's important to know that the things that we talk about that we do or how we show up, they require work. They require internal healing. In order for me to show up and say something to you that's going to benefit you, I'm in that Bible. I'm in that sermon. I'm listening to pastors and taking notes. And when I share out something, it truly comes from having put some work into it, right? I think the hardest part for me is that internal healing, because sometimes we want to be in control and we don't want to let God do what God is doing. And what I have come across every time is He's already done it. I'm just holding that blessing back because I'm trying to take control.
You guys enjoy this?
Yeah.
You know, everybody here has got a voice and a message, and some of you are amazing speakers yourself. And so I want us to just go around the room and just very, very briefly, 1 or 2 sentences, because we're running out of time. We still have to take a group picture before we do and divvy up the food. We still have to do that. But I want you to say 1 or 2 sentences. What did you get out of tonight? Did this work? Or if you've got something you'd like to add to what we were talking about.
What you do it?
Is he?
Here, I'll start. I'll start. I want to add something. So I recently read an article. As many of you have now figured out, I work in hospice. And so I work with a lot of the elderly and those that are dying. But one of the things that I just recently read was what truly makes a difference in you reaching old age. Now, back in the 1950s, there were only about 2,500 centenarians in the whole country. Last year in 2024, there were over 100,000 centenarians. And what this article said was there were 3 key things that made a difference to living a long life. The first thing was resiliency. And Marlene, you talked a lot about that tonight. The ability to be mentally strong, the ability to rebound from trauma and tragedy. And the quicker you can do it, the better off you are. The second thing was love. And it didn't talk about necessarily husband and wife kind of love, but relationships and community. Being able to love others. I get my heart broken probably just about every week because I love my patients. And I will not trade that for anything. But love is a huge factor in being able to live a long life. The third thing It's not what you eat. It's not exercise. It's not watching your cholesterol. It's faith and hope is the third thing. Those are the three keys that they're finding to people who make it to 100 plus have in their life. So I add that to tonight because as women and strong women, those are three keys that we have to be successful.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. It's true.
Wow, true. Tiffany?
I would have to probably say I talk to Anna all the time, so I know Anna. But this was really good because I do talk to Marlene, but not on this deep level, and to get to know her and understand everything, that she's gone through and spread her light on us, and so then with Danielle, you're very quiet. Sometimes I do try to talk to you, but she's in and out. She's in and out. So I don't get a chance to. And then she's up on stage. So it's like some people that you want to try to talk to, they're in and out, so this was really, really good to kind of see a different side. So I love it.
Yes.
I'll work on it. I'll play 5 minutes long.
Gotta start somewhere.
If we're all in ministry, then we can't give to each other.
Yeah.
Step out,
Or we could get Anna to block the door.
Okay, Judy, you want to say something?
Oh gosh, there's been an awful lot that I've taken in, that I've appreciated, and everything that I've taken, I'm going to take back up to him and discuss what's going on. But I think the one thing that definitely has resonated with me is what Marlene said about the joy, and that joy can actually. You can transform and receive that joy again. It can be, quite an instant thing. Maybe not instant, but, it might not take as long as, one would think that it would take to restore joy. So that was very interesting, and I had to learn more about that.
We're glad you're in this group. Yes. Adrian?
I just appreciate each and every one of the ladies here, just because for me, making the one-on-ones, I love being able to call Marlene or call Anna or call, you will get called. Make sure you're updated.
Yes.
And have that one-on-one lunch and really get to know each other, because as Pastor Kayla pointed out, I came here alone. I don't know anybody except my family here. That's it. That's all. And I'm not really interested in going out and finding a whole new set of friends when I've got a family right here that I want to be able to call sisters. I can't call you sister if I don't know you.
Yeah.
So that's my real deepest desire for this group, is to get to know each and every one of you, so that I can look at you on Sunday and say, how's it going? You go, okay. And I go, talk to me.
She can do that.
Talk to me, because there's something not, I don't see it in your eyes. Or I just, and that's what I do love, because I want to be able to genuinely, authentically know you and love you.
Yeah.
Not just love on a superficial, I love all people, but love you for you.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
that's why I'm here, guys. That's why I'm here.
Thanks, Adrian.
You're a blessing. Amy? We're glad you're in our group.
Yeah, I'm just blown away by everybody here. I didn't know what to expect. And, I just happened to come upon this church called Relate and a couple weeks ago, and it's just been like a whirlwind, because I joined Freedom, and I went to pizza with a pastor, and it was just everything. And I'm like, wow, these people are amazing. Where have y'all been hiding? So I'm so glad that I'm here, and thank you for your time. And you've all challenged me to do different things in my life, because I was like, well, I've been alone for a long time, but I'm happy. Everything's fine. But that's not okay. I need to get out. I need to socialize more with other people. I need to challenge myself and do things that bring me joy. So thank you for making me realize that.
Yes. We're glad you're here. Okay, Stephanie.
I didn't say a lot.
Your final thought.
But let's see. So it is definitely a blessing to be in this house of the Lord at this current moment, to hear everyone's struggles and the future plans, the living in the now, not living in the past. Like living in the past, when you spoke about the little brain thing, it makes sense because you are not born with those things. So this is why you can be triggered to trauma and you have to fix it back. It all makes sense. So yeah, and of course, show up as your authentic self. I look like I'm quiet at church, but I'm nervous. This is me. I'm crazy, y'all. This is me. So just always.
I know you enjoyed this session very much, and there's so many different issues still to be talked about in the future. But I want to tell you about a book that has been written with me and some of my friends, some of them on this podcast lesson that you have just enjoyed. The book is called Superwoman Singles, and it deals with the issues that single women face. And it's written by different women with different perspectives, and I know you will get so much out of it. It's available on Amazon right now. Hop over and get yourself a copy. Start changing your life. You're worth it. You've got just enough time in your life to make a difference. Do it with all your heart and see how God will bless you with peace and contentment and significance in your own life. God bless and keep you.